Who was Cleopatra and what was her history? Cleopatra VII administered Old Egypt as co-official first with her dad, at that point with her two more youthful siblings, lastly with her child for just about 30 years. She was essential for a tradition of Macedonian rulers established by Ptolemy, who filled in as broad under Alexander the Great during his success of Egypt in 332 BC. Accomplished and sharp, Cleopatra could communicate in different languages and filled in as the main ruler, taking all things together with three of her co-rulers. Since no contemporary records exist of Cleopatra's life, it is hard to bits together her account with much certainty. A lot of what is taught about her life comes from crafted by Greco-Roman researchers, especially Plutarch. Brought into the world in 70 or 69 BC, Cleopatra was a little girl of Ptolemy XII, Olates, a relative of Ptolemy Soter, one of Alexander the Great's officers and organizers of the Ptolemaic line in Egypt. Her mom was accepted to be Cleopatra V, Tryphena, the ruler's significant other. In 51 BC, upon the normal death of Olates, the Egyptian seat passed to 18-year-old Cleopatra and her 10-year-old sibling Ptolemy XIII. Not long after the king's rising to the seat, Ptolemy's guides acted against Cleopatra, who had to escape to Egypt for Syria in 49 BC. She raised a multitude of hired soldiers and restored the next year to confront her siblings' powers in a common battle at Pelusium on Egypt's eastern boundary. Then, after permitting the Roman general Pompey to be killed, Ptolemy XIII invited the appearance of Pompey's opponent Julius Caesar to Alexandria. To help her motivation, Cleopatra looked for Caesar's help, reportedly sneaking herself into the royal castle to argue her case with him. With her newborn child as co-official, Cleopatra's hang on the force in Egypt was safer than it had at any point been. In any case, problematic flooding on the Nile brought about bombing crops, pushing expansion and craving. In the meantime, a contention was seething in Rome between a second magistrate of Caesar's partners, Mark Antony Octavian and Lepidus, and his professional killers, Brutus and Cassius. The two sides requested Egyptian help, and after some slowing down, Cleopatra sent 4 Roman armies positioned in Egypt by Caesar to help the magistrate. In 42 BC, in the wake of crushing the powers of Brutus and Cassius, in the clashes of Philippi, Mark Antony and Octavian separated forces in Rome. Mark Antony, before long, gathered Cleopatra to the Sicilian city of Tarsus to clarify the job she had played in the complicated result of Caesar's death. As per the story recorded by Plutarch, Cleopatra sailed to Tarsus in a detailed boat, wearing the robes of Isis. Antony, who related himself with the Greek divinity Dionysus, was lured by her charms. Roman purposeful publicity painted Cleopatra as a debased flirt who utilized her sex bid as a political weapon, yet she may have been more famous for her intellect than her appearance. She talked upwards of 12 languages and was taught in math, theory, speech, and cosmology, and Egyptian sources later depicted her as a ruler who raised the position of researchers and appreciated their conversation. They're likewise proof that Cleopatra wasn't just as genuinely striking as once accepted. Coins with her representation show her with masculine highlights and a huge snared nose. However, a few students of history battle that she deliberately depicted herself as manly as a presentation of solidarity. As far as it matters for him, the outdated essayist Plutarch asserted that Cleopatra's magnificence was not out and out unique, and that it was rather her resonant talking voice and compelling appeal that made her so attractive. Cleopatra trusted herself to be a living goddess, and she regularly utilized clever stagecraft to charm likely partners and protect her heavenly status. A well-known illustration of her style for the sensational came in 48 BC, when Julius Caesar showed up in Alexandria during her quarrel with her sibling Ptolemy XIII. Realizing Ptolemy's power would ruin her attempt to meet with the Roman general, Cleopatra had herself enclosed by a floor covering. A few sources say it was a cloth sack and pirated into his quarters. Caesar was astonished by seeing the youthful sovereign in her illustrious attire, and the two before long became partners and darlings. On September 2nd, 31 BC, Octavian's power sufficiently crushed those of Antony and Cleopatra in the Battle of Actium. Cleopatra's boats deserted the fight and escaped to Egypt, and Antony before long figured out how to split away and follow her with a couple of boats. With Alexandria undergo an attack from Octavian's powers, Antony heard talk that Cleopatra had ended it all. He fell on his blade and passed on similarly as the news showed up that the gossip had been bogus. On August 12, 30 BC, in the wake of covering Antony and meeting with the successful Octavian, Cleopatra shut herself in her chamber with 2 of her female workers. The methods for her death are unsure, yet Plutarch and different authors progressed the hypothesis that she utilized a toxic snake known as the ASP, an image of heavenly fame, to end it all at age 39. As indicated by her desires, Cleopatra's body was covered with Antony's, leaving Octavian, later Emperor Augustus I, to praise his victory of Egypt and his compression of force in Rome.